Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Racing Podblast with me, Tony Mack, and Ben Aitken from Narrowing the Field. And we're off to Newbury this weekend, taking in 3 races from their William Hill Super Saturday meeting before taking our usual party bus up to Scotland for the next round of our Football Trixie Battle top, middle and bottom racing first though, and off to Newbury we go, starting with the Class 3 William Hill Handicap Hurdle over 3 miles, due off at 1:50. Welcome along, Ben. Congratulations on your winner last week. Fabulous shot.
Anpan Darig.
Yes, brilliant.
I even used Google to figure out how to say it properly. So, yeah, happy that one won.
Yeah, good one. Good shout, mate. Good one.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you. Hopefully more of the same from one of us this week. 150 Newbury, William Hill Handicap Hurdle. 3 catch my eye in this handicap. Up for Parole, Shut Up Shirley, and the 4 6s. Up for Parole, he's flagging up at me in a couple of angles. To start with, he's racing under his prime conditions. A left-handed, flat or slightly undulating track, a mark of less than 130 and a break of 42 days or less, where he is 4 wins from 5 starts. Gavin Sheehan on board, an additional positive because he's ridden him to all 4 of his career wins. Up for Pro also meets Jamie Snodden, last time out winner angle I have. Horses trained by Jamie Snodden and ridden by Gavin Sheehan in Class 2 or lower hurdle or bumper races. One last time out, running off a break of 60 days or less and start at a single figure SP. That returns 38 winners and 14 placed from 76 qualifiers. 50% win strike rate and almost 33 points profit. So a couple of really strong positives there for Up for Parole. And he's high in my thoughts for this. Shut Up Shirley comes here off the back of winning his last 3 starts, and he's clearly benefited hugely for stepping up to stay in trips on those last 3 starts. He does hold plenty of stamina influences in his pedigree, so no massive surprise that staying trips have seen him unlock his potential. Likely still got more offer in races like this, and his chances are boosted by the record of his trainer and jockey when teaming up with last time out winners. Geldings trained by Robert Walford and ridden by Harry Kimber in Class 2 or lower handicaps that won last time out. They return stats of 11 winners and 5 placed from just 23 qualifiers. 48% win strike rate and over 23 points profit. And Shut Up Shirley is another I can see going well in this, and the 4 6s is the other on my shortlist. Was tried over fences this season, didn't really go to plan there, so they revert back to hurdles here. I think that's interesting because he could yet have more offer over the smaller obstacles, especially over staying trips where he is still very much unexposed. Ground should be in his favour on Saturday. He's 2 wins in 3 places from 5 starts on soft or slower ground, and he could be one to outrun his big odds in this, the 4 6s. Of that 3, I have to side with Up for Parole. It ticks plenty of boxes given how I play this game, and 4-1, 92 looks worth a go to me. So Up for Parole for me. Tony, what have you got for this staying handicap?
I'm with you, mate, on Up for Parole. I like him a lot, and 92 is way too big a price for a horse that really should be finishing. I mean, there's 12 runners going to post, should be finishing in the first 3. Very, very hard to kick him out of the first 3 here, or first 4, some firms are paying. Up for Parole, yeah, as you say, he's 2 from 9 and 2 places on soft. Gavin Sheehan he's 4 from 15 on him, but as you said, Ben, he's the only jockey to win on Up for Parole, and I was very taken with his win last month at Fosslas, beating 8 rivals by 2 1/4 lengths off a £6 lower mark, which I think is quite reasonable actually for tomorrow. So Up for Parole for me. The other ones on my shortlist, Ballygriffin Cottage looks interesting. First time blinkers and first time on stable debut for Harry Derm after moving from Dan Skelton's. So that looks quite interesting. That one, Ballygriffin Cottage, that's around 20-1 at the minute, but he is 0 from 7 on a slightly undulating track, which is quite a worry. Press Your Luck as well. I've got a 50 to 1 he is. Now, Press Your Luck is 2 from 4 in February. He's also 3 from 10 with a couple of places on a left-hand track. So it could be interesting. Press Your Luck for the Gordons. Chris Gordon and his son Freddie Gordon claiming £3 in the saddle there, 50 to 1. But my other one to go with up for parole is the 4 6s for Ollie Murphy and James Bowen. He's around 20 to 1 at the minute. A gelding by Westerner, 7-year-old. The 4 6s is 1 from 4, but 3 places on soft. So he goes well on this ground. Could be hitting the frame here. His best form is on left-handed tracks. And he's formerly with Gordon Elliott as well, the 4 6s. So Ollie Murphy and James Bowen, they're teaming up on the 4 6s for me each way, along with Up for Parole, which has to be an each way at 9 to 2. Or even going a bit heavier if you want. 2.25 at Newbury, the Grade 2 Denman Chase, over 2 miles. 7.5 furlongs. You'll have to patter this one out, Ben, because I've only got one horse for this, mate.
Yeah,
confidence.
8 runners entered up for it, which is actually the most since your old pal Silvia Naco Conte won the 2013 renewal. Very much a group of horses this year that I feel you can pick holes in pretty much all of them. Jello, perhaps the most interesting of the runners. He's stepping up 3 miles for the first time here. Not 100% convinced 3 miles is what he wants, or almost 3 miles as this race is. And his winning form to date has come on his first 3 runs of the season. 0 from 6, 2 places on all other starts. This run here is his 4th run of the season, but it is worth noting that he did finish 3rd in the Turners at Cheltenham last season on his 6th run of last season, so may not yet be anything in those stats. And on the positive side of things, he is one of only a couple of progressive types in the field, Jello, so I definitely do see the appeal with him. The other progressive sort being Le Patron, who, like Jello, is trying the longest trip of his career here. It failed to fire in the December Gold Cup at Cheltenham last time out. I think he's worth forgiving that effort because he's 0 from 6 on very undulating tracks such as Cheltenham. He'll be happier back on an easier track like Newbury, a track where he scored by a wide margin on seasonal debut this season. He's another that's shown all of his winning form in his first 3 runs of the season. If you look at Le Patron on 1st, 2nd and 3rd run of the season, and when running away from a very undulating track, you see he has 4 wins from 4. So these are conditions where he has shown his best previously. At this trip, the only query or unknown for Le Patron. Of the more exposed types, I suppose Brave Man's Game half catches the eye because he's 3 from 3 at Newbury. They wisely removed the headgear for this run. I don't think headgear's been doing anything for him. So he could well run better now he's free from any headgear experiments. And he does have his prime conditions to shoot for. Chase or hurdles over less than 3 mile 1, October to February, and wearing no headgear, where he is 9 wins and 4 seconds from 13 starts. It's not won for over 2 years now, but if he's ever going to win again, then it's probably going to be under those conditions, under these conditions. Price doesn't tempt me too much, to be honest. Ultimately, it's a fiddly sort of race, but when I take a swing at Le Patron for the Moors, I think there's enough juice in his price at 13 to 2 to see if he stays his longer trip at the first time I'm asking. So Le Patron for me. Tony, what have you got for the Denman Chase?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, that Le Patron. Is Gary and Josh Moore going well this season, aren't they? And he's better than that last run, isn't he, Ben? At Cheltenham. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's it's a nice one, that one. I like that one. I'm going for, well, I'll tell you, I'm not going for Hitman. I'm not going for Brave Man's Game. Now, I can't be having a horse that hasn't won for 10 runs, regardless of how low he's dropping in grade. But he has been a good horse, but unfortunately Galloping Deschamps in the 2023 Gold Cup should have been arrested for grievous bodily harm, because it's never been the same horse since. So he got some GBH off Galloping Deschamps that day and never been the same horse since. Watch him absolutely win by half the track tomorrow. I'm going for Jello for Venetia Williams. Charlie Dodge in the saddle, of course. He's around 4-1 at the minute. Jello, that'll be my only interest. Was my only interest. I'm looking at Le Patron now. But Jello is a course winner. He's 2 from 7 on soft ground, including 3 places on soft ground. He's been winning place 5 occasions from 7 starts on soft ground. He's 2 from 4 in grade 2s, including a place as well. So he goes well in these grade 2s. It's probably his level, Jello's level, later on tomorrow. So I'm going for Jello, around 4-1 for Venetia Williams. Again, another horse that's better, and I probably didn't take to the Windsor track last time out when he was sent off at the 5-4 favourite, beaten 23 lengths by Protectorat. A horrendous result that for Jello, but he's better than that run. He's only 7. He's taking on the 10-year-old Brave Man's Game tomorrow, who hasn't won for 10 races. So I'll have Jello over a horse that hasn't won for 10 races anytime. So Jello for me in that race, the 2:25, Ben. On to the 3:35, the Class 1 William Hill Handicap Hurdle, Premier Handicap over 2 miles, 1 furlong. This looks an interesting race here, Ben, and plenty going to post here. 18 going to post currently in the 3:35 at Newbury.
Yeah, always a competitive race, this one. Generally, plenty in the race you can give some sort of a chance to. It's a race I cover on my member service, one I cover using race trends. Actually, got quite a few trends I use for the race, so won't fire them up on here, but the trends spat out a short list of Favour and Fortune, Give Me 5, Secret Squirrel, Mirabad, Navajo Indy and Joyeuse. So a decent amount of the 18 runner field passing the trends, which is no surprise given, again, the competitive nature of the race. If the trends hold up again this year, then one of the 6 I mentioned will be winning. Joyeuse is one of 2 in the race for JP McManus, and he's an owner who does like to target this race. Since 2010, horses carrying the JP McManus Silks have returned 3 wins and 5 places from 26 runners. All 3 of his winners were 6-year-olds with 3 to 6 hurdle starts on their CV and 2 to 3 starts in the current season. The JP McManus horses that have lined up in this race since 2010 with that profile, they've returned a form line of first, second, and first. The second going down by less than a length. This year, Joyeuse is a 6-year-old with 3 hurdle starts to her name and 2 runs so far this season. So she fits the profile of previous JP McManus winners of this. And it's highly likely, I think, this race has been her target since she won on hurdle debut at Taunton last January. In fact, if you watch her run at Ascot seasonal debut this term, you'll see Nico de Boinville giving her a nice and tender ride, pressing no buttons at any stage and just making sure she had a good tune-up and there's no damage done to her handicap mark. And I expect they'll be delighted she can run here off a mark of 1, 2, 3. And there's a good chance she'll prove on Saturday that she's some way better than that lowly mark. So Joyeuse is certainly catching my eye. Navajo Indy also catches the eye. He ran okay last time out at Windsor. Not sure he really handled the sharp Windsor track all that well that day. Never really got going until they jumped 2 out. He'll be happier back in Newbury, where he posted a very strong speed figure, pro form speed figure, when winning the Jerry Fielding over course and distance 2 starts back. This is only his 3rd start in a handicap, and his Jerry Fielding performance suggests that his current mark of 128 shouldn't pose any problems for him, Navajo Indy. And at bigger prices, I think Gimme 5 could potentially be interesting. He ran no sort of race at Windsor last time out, but with stick blinkers back on him here, which he wore when racing on the flat, he recorded a win in 2 places from 4 starts with blinkers on. They sparked some life back into him over hurdles, and I think his mark of 132 is one he's capable of defying. They've had a Durham Yard, also in much better form now than when he ran at Windsor last month. So he could be one to run well at a big price. Give me 5. Realistically, I could give some level of a positive mention at a number of the runners, but I'm going to stick with what looks like a JP McManus plotted up runner in the shape of GeeGeez. I expect the handbrake to be released on Saturday, and she'll prove plenty better than her current handicap mark. So GeeGeez for me, Tony. What you got for this William Hill handicap hurdle?
Couple of big price ones for me, Ben. 3. I've got Fiercely Proud here. It was around 11 to 1, 2 from 4 over this trip, 3 from 6 on slightly undulating tracks as well. Fiercely Proud won. Just coming up to Christmas last year at Ascot, beating 11 rivals a short ahead, Cabral du Matin. He was a shock when he was 12 to 1 that day, but he's been running fairly well. He actually fell on seasonal debut at Ascot in November, but he was being ridden when he was disputing second when falling 2 out, and then he bumped into a few in the Grade 3 Great Wood Hurdle at Cheltenham in November, so it was a bit above him, that really. But certainly did well to win an actual Grade 3 last time out, the Ladbrokes Handicap Hurdle at Ascot. So Fiercely Proud there was around 11 to 1. I think that's a little bit big in some places. But we've got Beat the Bat, who was around 25 to 1 for Harry Fry and Brian Carver in the saddle. Last seen at Windsor, another one that probably didn't get the Windsor track, but he's finished second at Cheltenham in a novices hurdle, and he's also finished second of 14 at Haydock in November before that Windsor run last month. Hopefully he'll run a little bit better than that this time. Beat the Bat. He's placed on soft. He's also won on slightly undulating tracks as well. Just to double check what we're saying about the second at Cheltenham. That was back in December 23, and then he missed about a year, 12 months off the track before returning it to finish second at Haydock. Must get that in. That was a bit of a mistake from me. I do apologise. Our champ for the for Chris Gordon, Rex Dingle is in the saddle here. He's around 22 to 1. He was last seen at Ascot and the Grade 3 Ladbroke Handicap Hurdle, finishing 5th of 12, beating 27 lengths. Our champ, he won't want it too soft. Rex Dingle is 2 from 5. With 1 place on the horse, and positives left-handed tracks, and he's also placed over course and distance as well as our champ. So hopefully, fingers crossed for our champ there at around 22 to 1. Beat the Bat at 25s. I think I'm going to be playing those two. I might have a little saver on Fiercely Proud to finish in the first 3 at around 11 to 1. That is the 3:35 at Newbury, the William Hill Hurdle, Class 1. Handicap hurdle over, how far is it, Ben? 2 miles, half a furlong. There you go. All right, moving on. Here we go. It is top, middle and bottom time.
Oh, golly, what a boy! The great thing about loving football is you cannot explain why you love it. It just happens. Chasing a ball round a park, wanting one team to win against the other.
El Mahoney, right foot, whips it. Oh, jeez, he peeps, man.
It's time for round 26, top, middle and bottom. An update on the current state of play, please, Ben.
Just 1 winner for me last week, no winners for you, so -4 to both totals. Meaning current totals for us now, so plus 29.56 for me, minus 44.39 for you, Tony. Scottish Cup action this week, so our pick in the top section can come from either the Scottish Cup or the Championship. Middle and bottom, the same 2 leagues. My top, middle and bottom this week is top Dunfermline to beat Aberdeen at 21 to 4. Aberdeen are in the funk of all funks right now. Only match they've won in their past 15 came against Elgin in the last round of the Cup. The 3-0 scoreline flattered them that day. They've lost 10 of their last 15 games. They've failed to score in 8 of their last 12 games. Dunfermline haven't been great this season, but they've started to string together some better form on recent starts, and they've strengthened their squad a fair bit during the transfer window. So potential for a cup upset sort of result here, and I'm going for Dunfermline to beat the Dons.
Not as much chance as Braveman's game.
No, you've clearly not been watching Aberdeen the last 2 months, mate. Jeez, Dunfermline to beat the Dons. This game is played on Sunday. Middle, Stenhousemuir to beat Queen of the South at 11-8. Queen of the South winless on the road this season, drawing 3 and losing 8 of their 11 away matches. So I'm going to take league leader Stenhousemuir to make full use of their home advantage with a win here. And bottom, Edinburgh to beat Forfar at 31-10. Forfar struggling away at the bottom of the table. They've only managed to win 1 of the last 10. They failed to keep a clean sheet in any of the last 13. Edinburgh have won the last 4 meetings between the sides, winning 0 in their last 3 meetings against Forfar. Really massively overpriced for this. Once again, Edinburgh look overpriced. So Edinburgh to round out my top, middle and bottom, giving me a top, middle and bottom of top Dunfermline, middle Stenhousemuir, and bottom Edinburgh. Tony, what you got?
Aberdeen to beat Dunfermline at 2-5.
No.
Stenhousemuir. I agree with you here, by the way. We agree. Stenhousemuir to beat Queen of the South at 11-8, and keep the faith. Notice, listeners, that we don't mention Clyde anymore, or our vast sums amount of sponsorship that we threw at Clyde at the start of the season. We don't mention them anymore. Clyde at home to Stranraer, or to beat Stranraer at 23-20. Aberdeen 2-5. Stenhousemuir 11-8. Clyde 23-20. Many thanks for listening. Go on.
Martin Rennie, one of our sponsor players, did score last week, but it was away from home, and we only sponsor his home shirt, so we don't care.
Typical. Absolutely typical. Many thanks for listening to the latest edition of the Racing Podblast. Very best luck with your bets at Newbury this weekend. You can catch me all over the place. I don't even know where I am now. And you can catch more from Ben over on narrowinthefield.co.uk. Thanks very much for listening. And we'll see you all again next week. Cheers, Ben.
Cheers, Tony.